Today we're going to talk about Dorian Mode, and we're going to keep it in the key of C. Dorian Mode is the second mode of the major scale, and its formula is root 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, and root note. So there's two reasons why you want to know what the formula is for the mode that you're working with. So the first one is so that you can construct the mode. So if we take the modal formula for Ionian Mode, which is also the major scale, it's simply root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root. And if we take the major third and the major seventh and we lower them one half step or one semitone, we're going to turn Ionian Mode into Dorian Mode. Now, some of you might be asking, hey, why does Dorian have a flat 3 and a flat 7? Where do those scale tones come from? So let me explain that. So C Ionian is going to give us the following notes: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And if we spell out the notes in C Dorian, we get C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat, and C. And all the notes are the same except for the E's and the B's, the thirds and the sevenths. And this is where the formula comes from. So in C major, we've got E, but in Dorian, it's E flat. So that's where the flat 3 comes from. And we've got a B versus the B flat. So that's where the flat 7 comes from. Okay, the second reason for wanting to know the formula is for melodic composition and improvisation. So if I'm composing or improvising in Dorian Mode, I'm going to want to be hanging out with the flat 3 and the flat 7 a lot. Roots, 5s are always going to work. And what that spells out here are all the ingredients in a minor 7th chord. But there's one hidden gem in Dorian Mode, and that is the 6. And Dorian Mode is the only mode in the major scale that has a major 6th interval. The other modes, Phrygian and Aeolian, all have a flat 6 or a minor 6th. So I'm going to want to be really showcasing that major 6 a lot. Okay, so let's move on to constructing the chord progression for Dorian Mode. And it's a 3-step process. So first step is to always determine what the parent major scale is. So parent major scale. So to figure this out, just remember C Dorian, you're on the 2nd degree of the scale. You got to move a whole step back. So that's going to take us to B flat. So we've got B flat major, and that's going to yield the following notes: B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, and B flat. Okay. So second step will be to determine what the 1, 4, and 5 chords are from the parent major scale. So it's going to be B flat major, E flat major, and F. So just remember that when you're building chords from the major scale, and you've got the harmonized major scale and triads, your 1, 4, and 5 chords are always major. So let's write that out here. So B flat, E flat, and F will be our major triads. And the third and final step is to take the root note of the mode we want, in this case C Dorian, and we want to put it in the bass of the 3 chords. So we're going to get B flat with C in the bass, and E flat with C in the bass, and F with C in the bass. So what we've got here are 3 slash chords. And when you're working with slash chords, just remember that the letter or the note on the top left is your triad. Okay, so you've got an F major triad. The note on the bottom right is your bass note. So this is really easy to visualize on a keyboard. So you can think of it as the right hand's going to be playing F major, so the notes F, A, and C, while the left hand is playing the note C. One of the other cool things that I really, really like about slash chords is it's a much simpler way to playing more complex chords. So if we were to name these chords with C root notes, so these would be chord synonyms, what we would have is B flat over C is going to give us C9, sus4. E flat over C is C minor 7. And F over C is going to be C minor 6, sus4. And some of these spellings for the chords aren't very common, so they can be a little intimidating for some people. And so that's why slash chords are a lot easier to build more complex chords. So let's draw these out. And so the first chord, oh, and by the way, the chord progression, let me back up one step. So the chord progression that I'm going to go with is going to be E flat over C. And I'm going to go with F over C next. Back to E flat over C. And then B flat over C. And you can see that I just didn't play through our 1-4-5 progression with the C and the bass all the way through. I mixed it up. What I like to do with all my modal chord progressions, with the exception of Ionian Mode, is to stick with the 4 and 5 chords with the occasional reference to 1. It just sounds the best. Okay, so E flat with C in the bass is going to look like this. And it's just a standard, it's just C minor 7 at fret number 8. Fingering on that is going to be 2. We're going to mute the A string here with the second finger. 3, 3, 3. And we can bar that. There's our third finger, barring across the D, G, and B string. Okay, so, and the reason why I like to use that third finger is I can slide it up a whole step or a tone into the next chord. So here's our F with C in the bass, and that's going to be fret 8 again. Fingering is 1, X, 3, 3, 3, and there's our bar with the third finger again. E flat with C in the bass, just the same thing that we did here. And then B flat with C in the bass is going to be this guy here. And that's fret 8 as well. Fingering is 3, X, 4, 2, 1, 1. We can bar that first finger across the B and the high E string. So let's take a listen as to what this sounds like. So here's our first chord. Here's E flat with C in the bass. Up to F with C in the bass. Back to E flat with C in the bass. To B flat with C in the bass. 3, 4. This used a lot, let's say Tush and LaGrange by ZZ Top. It's a favorite mode of Carlos Santana, so let's say Oya Como Va. You'll also hear it used in a lot of cool R&B and funk music, so something like this. So just that major 6 sounds really cool in that minor environment. And so anyways, there's just a little some information for you on Dorian Mode. And that's it for today.